Guess maybe I should have done the intro.
You're good. I got it.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever the fuck you're watching this episode. It's another episode of the Blitz. I apologize for the introduction. I usually don't start the show. This is my fault.
No, it's my fault. Coming in hot. It's been one of them days. We'll get this thing back on the
I
rails.
was Sans producer for the intro, and I still need to make sure that I'm getting my shit right. So equal blame here. How are you tonight? Besides in a rush.
I'm good, man. It's been a hell of a day. Work thing that had me commuting during rush hour today. I don't miss that at all.
Yeah.
And
For
then
the
I had
birds.
about 20 minutes to grab a sandwich and head to my daughter's concert. And then
How was that?
it was good. It was good. They're big choir. The high school choir is bigger than the graduating class I had in high school. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Just the choir, yeah. That's both. I went to a small school and they've got a big choir, but yeah, it's just been a hectic day, man. I had like 20 minutes to get from the congested concert hall where they were doing the choir or the chorus concert to the house, and here we are. I blew the intro, so I apologize for that.
You know what? Don't make it about you, Gary. How about that?
I'm trying to let you off the hook.
No, you're good, man. You're good. You're good. I've done the intro before, still found a way to fuck it up. So lesson learned
We're
there.
here, though.
Anyways,
We're here.
we're on to different things. We started on time, and you know what? That in and of
Half the
itself,
battle.
yeah, between dad life and and work life,
Absolutely.
it can be a lot to deal with. So, all right. So we've already debriefed the conference championships.
Yep.
We're left with the big show,
Yup.
the Kelsey Bowl. Should the Kelsey's mother, should Mama Kelsey see Aaron Altas is, I mean, come on, tried and true.
There we go, man.
Absolutely.
Here every week.
Every week dedicated. So for those
Appreciate
of you
you,
guys
bud.
that are gonna watch this after the fact, ain't no fucking excuses, bro. And honestly, I mean, look, we're on Facebook and YouTube for a reason, right? So just get on there, throw it up in the car. We'll list, you ain't got to see us most of the time. You could
You
just
don't want
listen
to
to
see us, probably.
You don't want to see it. Look, look at his beard. This is not
It's
worth
a
looking
tough
at.
go over here.
It's a tough go over here. At least you got your beard game up. None of us can. We pale in comparison to Andy.
Yeah.
Miss
I don't
you,
know if
buddy.
my wife will ever let me get to that level.
I don't think I'm capable. So
It would take me a long time too.
Yeah.
Like this is like, I want to say this is like 7-8 months
wow,
in the works, and I've had very
It's
small
3 years.
trims.
I'm just kidding.
So it would take me a very long time to get anywhere near his level. So
Yeah,
I work with a dude who just like thinks about growing a beard and has a beard my length. Like he shaved it 1 week, and I saw him a month later, and he had like a full beard, just puffed out.
Yeah,
Golly, like he just thinks really hard, and it's like that Family Guy episode where Peter grows that beard by just training himself.
oh yeah, yeah.
I don't
This
have
is.
that game though.
I don't. I definitely don't. I don't. I'm nowhere near that. Never will be. And blessing and a curse, but is what it is.
True. I
So
enjoyed it when I was in the Navy. I didn't have to shave every 6 hours.
Yeah, that's true too. That is true too. I never had to worry. Like I never got caught not shaving. It didn't matter. It didn't show. So
If I
all
got
the
caught not shaving, I was very, very negligent.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here. It's the big show, 6:31 Eastern. Super Bowl Sunday's going down. Listen, the betting odds. I just wanted to pull up FanDuel
Yeah.
and just see where it's at. I mean, the spread, Kansas City plus 1.5.
That feels disrespectful, doesn't
I
it?
feel like that's rude as shit,
That feel
right?
disrespectful. Like that's a
Philadelphia
mortgage bet
Eagles.
for me.
Philadelphia Eagles minus 1.5.
You're gonna give me anything with Kansas City against the team that played the weakest schedule in the NFL, the team that played Daniel Jones in the divisional round and played Brock Purdy for 2 plays, and then Josh Johnson for like a dozen plays,
Mhm.
and then it was Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy attempting to hand the ball off. Like, show me a little something before you tell me you're gonna beat you should be the favorite against Kansas City. I just feel like that's such a disrespectful number. However, I will tell you from the degenerate perspective, Vegas knows something. That's what that number tells me from a betting perspective, that Vegas knows something, because it feels like a trap line to have Kansas City the underdog at all. I feel like they're trapping people into betting Kansas City, and we're going to see Philly win. Like, it just feels like that. And it's a high percentage when these Vegas lines, I call them Vegas lines. I think they call them trap lines in some circles, and other places they just call them like fool's bets. But these they hit a high percentage in Vegas's favor, like they trap you into doing something. So it feels like a sneaky fucking line. It feels disrespectful, but it also feels like Vegas is up to something. They know something that we don't.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't want to get back into the conspiracy thing. I'm saying that Vegas knows something we don't. Something maybe about this matchup, something about Mahomes' ankle, something about the Chiefs are going to get the flu on Friday before the game. I don't know, but Vegas, that's what that line feels like to me. With just kind of the way the season is played out, it feels like Vegas knows, and they always know more than I do, right? But that's why they're a $9 trillion fucking enterprise. But it definitely feels like there's something up, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I opened up the numbers just right before we started the show, and as soon as I saw it, I just felt like, man, am I really that far off?
It's a weird number, dude.
Is
Weird
Pat?
number.
But like, my thought is Pat really? Is he going to be able to tough it out another game, or has he had enough time to heal? 2 weeks is a lot of time. We'll see.
Yeah. The other thing that I think it could potentially be is Vegas. I mean, Vegas doesn't set a number. Vegas doesn't set a number based on who they think is going to win, right? Like, let's get that thought out of our heads. Vegas sets a number where they're going to make the most money.
Right.
And the other thing this might possibly be is kind of enticing people to take Philly, like giving up some juice with the money line, or Kansas City. They're kind of limiting the damage they could get by maybe enticing people to take the 1.5 instead of taking the money line. These numbers always feel like Vegas knows something we don't, but it's also right. They're setting these lines where they're going to make the most money. So it could be something where they're just trying to do some damage control and how they think the game's going to play out.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's gonna kind of. I mean, the pull into Kansas City. I don't know. We might as well just jump right into this part, unless you wanted to talk about the Pro Bowl.
Well, I always like to bring that last point up, right, about Vegas setting it where they're going to make the most money, because a lot of people get this hunch that like Vegas thinks so and so is going to win. Vegas thinks so-and-so is going to blow out so-and-so. Vegas doesn't care about the outcome of the game. They care about the outcome of the money. And when they set those lines, they're setting those lines to play the public because that's where the most money is. The sharps are going to make their plays and whatnot, but Vegas makes the most money when the public bets heavily on something and it loses. That's what they're trying to get. They're trying to entice. So it could be one of those where they're trying to set the hook and kind of the juice is what it is, and they're just trying to do some damage control in terms of what this could be. But I just wanted to bring that up because that is a misperception that a lot of amateur bettors that I have conversations with, they pitch it as Vegas thinks so-and-so is going to win. Well, Vegas doesn't care. They've run the numbers, and this is the outcomes that they've run with their numbers. And this line that they've set is where they feel they're going to make the most money or possibly lose the least money, which is what I think. My last hunch is that it might just be this line is what they think they're going to lose the least amount of money on.
I don't think that that's like a far-fetched idea. I mean, ultimately, they're going for protecting the house, right? Like the last thing they need is an underdog upset that cost them a fortune, right?
Absolutely, right.
So
you set the Chiefs as a 6-point dog or something. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. All right, let's see if I fix this ticker. There we go.
Hey,
I like the spacing on that a little more.
I like it.
Anyways, so do you want to talk about the Pro Bowl?
Listen, I have a passing thought, and I'm not going to linger on the Pro Bowl.
Emphasis on passing. Okay. All right.
We can concentrate on the Super Bowl this week because it's what we should do. The NFL went from a bad format with the Pro Bowl to a worse format with what they did.
Yeah.
I didn't like a lot of the way things were set up. I didn't like the competitions they had set up. I didn't like the way they kind of framed the competitions. I thought there were some interesting top-level thoughts, like the defensive lineman catching punts. That was a neat concept, but they were talking over it the whole time. And they weren't doing anything to interact with what the fuck was going on the field. The coolest thing I saw all weekend was a couple of dudes. TJ Hawkinson nuked the ball 325 yards or 315 yards, and his name's going to elude me, but defensive back for the Ravens, I think it might have been Humphrey, but I don't quote me on that, but he nukes 321 to beat Hawkinson. That was cool in the long drive. Other than that, it was a fucking snooze fest.
Fucking snooze fest.
Yeah.
It was absolute dog shit.
It was terrible. You went from bad to worse. Like, how'd you do that?
I kind of flipped on and off of it. I'd watch 5 minutes here and there. It just
I tried to stay with it to give it a fair shake, but
it was not worth my time.
No.
And so
look, I think that Ty's got a point here, except there's one thing I will say, that the NHL and the NBA get the skills competitions right. I think they have a good time with them. They let the athletes take center stage, the events take center stage, and there are events that highlight things that happen in the game. As far as the All-Star game itself, and the NHL has tried to make it interesting with the 3-on-3, 4-on-4 format, open the space. It doesn't work. It just doesn't move the needle. I'm with Ty. Nobody cares about these fucking All-Star games. I want Dan Marino throwing at a moving dummy again. Like, put chalk on the fucking tip of the football.
And
I
so
that
was like, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if you think about, look at social media. I mean, I feel like it's a good metric for like memorable things, right? Is like what gets viral. And so what we're looking back at, if you look on social media right now and you look at the skills competitions from football, like the Marino days, right? Like Peyton Manning, there's great video, fucking Matt Hasselbeck, like absolutely just like lacing a court. Yeah. Tom Brady doing horrible. Like there's all kinds of good shit memorable, but you're not
crow hopping a ball 72 yards.
You're not seeing the game, the Pro Bowl. You're seeing the skills competition. Exactly. That is the memorable moment, right? And so, yes, the All-Star game in and of itself is a joke.
Make it a weekend, but like
I enjoyed the NBA All-Star game way more than I like.
It's open and they're just dunking and they're shooting a bunch and they're having fun, right? That's fine. That's fine. But I just the Pro Bowl just like it's just misses so hard. We're never going to have Sean Taylor lighten up Brian Mormon again, right? So let's move on from.
It's an all-time favorite. Just end on that high note.
Anything, right? We're not going to capture anything worthwhile with with this.
Classic.
And I'll go back and say it like Ty. I think Ty's right that most All-Star games, if not all, like it just nobody cares anymore. There's too much money in the
Yeah.
game itself for the players to give a fuck. Right, exactly, Aaron. When Sean
Yeah.
Taylor lit up Brian Mormon, that was fun. Now you can't even blitz. You can't rush if you're more than a
I
yard.
mean, for fuck's sake, dude, it was flag football.
And it was flag football this weekend, right? Before they even went to flag football, they got rid of blitzing. They got rid of like zone defense and shit. It was fucking
Right.
stupid.
I'm just talking about the trajectory
weekend
from
is-
like allowing defense to put hits on people to
To
where
flag.
now, I mean, this is the most snowflake shit. Like it
It's
really
terrible,
is, right?
dude.
Like
It's so bad.
it's dog shit. Okay.
I think the players want to do away with it. I think the owners I think the NFL wants to do away with it, but they don't want to do away with the Pro Bowl selections, right? So because it's incentives, people have it written in their contracts.
Yeah,
and
I
all
mean,
that.
just call it the first, and
it's the
NFL
Pro Bowl
first team
weekend.
or whatever.
Well, they do have, so they have like all pro and stuff, but the Pro Bowl, let's make it a weekend. Let's have some fun skills competitions. While a couple people hit good long drives, I don't want to watch football players hit golf balls. I just don't. Let's get the fucking fastest man competition back, right? Let's do 40s. Let's get the chalk on the end of the football again, hitting moving dummies. Let's get the longest throw. Let's get coffin corner punts back into it.
Fucking Pro Bowl combine this shit so we can see some metrics.
Exactly. Just make a weekend of it. I want to see Justin Tucker out there trying to make a 70-yard fucking field goal. That's what I want.
Yes.
From an NFL Pro Bowl weekend. Fuck the game. No.
Yes.
Just
no. It's got to be. It's got to be this like combine style competition where it's
absolutely.
Yeah, because everyone wants to see the metrics. How fucking fast is Justin Jefferson now?
100%.
That he's been in the league.
The Packers' offensive line would dominate that. We've already seen it.
Oh, dude, seen it. Seen it. Bakhtiari absolutely housed.
Dude, he would hammer
a couple. Went ham.
Although Brady's got legendary beer chugging skills, so although he's retired now, maybe he'll come out of retirement for the
Pat McAfee. Same thing. I mean, Pat McAfee can bring one down rather quickly.
Yeah. Right. The bonuses, the incentives that come in, and the money that the NFL can get from the TV and stuff. Make it a weekend event. We can have fun with it. You can still cash your checks from the broadcast companies, but the game is dumb. The game
invest in the entertainment value. Okay,
right.
Period. It's like the system that exists right now isn't working. It's time to fix it.
Right. They can all go to Vegas. They can all go to Hawaii, whatever, for a weekend.
I want to
on
see
the NFL's
fucking
dollar.
Aaron Donald on the bench, like doing his thing. How many reps is he going to get?
Strongest man, right? I want Larry Allen back doing fucking 45 reps at 600 pounds.
Yes,
bench pressing fucking small cars.
Well, I mean, think about this. Didn't we see? I mean, Josh Allen throw like a 72-yard bomb in the combine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that type of shit.
I want to see Allen.
I couldn't tell you a single fucking play.
Just trying to throw the ball as far as they fucking can. I want to know if Josh Allen can throw the ball 85 yards. I want to know if Mahomes can really throw it 80 yards.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you.
Put it in Denver, too. Let's go to fucking Denver where the air is lighter.
Yeah.
Let's see how far they can really throw.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want the snow, go to Mexico City, right? Where it's super
moonshine.
light air. And we're just going to throw the ball 100 yards. Give him a fucking vortex.
I'm just here for the whistle.
Yes.
I'm just saying, in the last 5 years, I could not mention a memorable play, a memorable moment from any Pro Bowl
moment. Even you're absolutely right. There's not even that moment you can point to say that was our Sean Taylor dump truck and Brian Mormon moment from this year's Pro Bowl. That was the Brett Favre needing 72 to beat 71.
We get more highlights out of the preseason than we do the Pro Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
I don't remember who the defender was, so forgive me. He was with I think they were the Redskins at the time, but it was what was it? It's DeAndre Hopkins and
D'Angelo Hall from the preseason.
Yes, D'Angelo Hall
broke him
dude.
Off. They were talking so much shit back and forth. D-Hop broke him off.
He said, "I fear God, boy."
In fact, D'Angelo Hall missed a couple of weeks with he ended up actually like tweaking his Achilles, but D-Hop put him in the fucking washing machine.
Yeah, that was so good.
Oh, yes. Let's see how high you can get. Oh, I keep
My
fucking
bad.
you up.
Dude, this
Let's see how
is
high you can get.
what
You hear his
terrestrial
newest
plane
off-season
can we
thing?
reach?
He's doing the dark environment escape or whatever, 4 days in the pitch dark. Yeah. People from Alaska have now entered the chat and they will tell you you're not going to enjoy that.
Facts. Facts. Proven facts. Onward. Okay, let's get to the big moment here. Let's
Let's
pick
do it.
our Super Bowl picks here. I'm going to keep it simple because I feel like we've seen enough that I feel like Pat is going to have enough time to rest up and be ready to go. I think that regiment he was on leading up to the AFC Championship was incredible.
Yeah.
He put on a
Kudos
show.
again to the staff.
No kidding.
100%.
He was real ginger on it in the fourth quarter, but I don't think, again, couldn't tell you his pain management, but I'm sure he knows how to tough it out through an injury. I feel like I've got to ride with the idea I've said all along, and is that the AFC is the favorite. The top 3 teams in the NFL are in the AFC. They were my third, admittedly, because I was Bills, I was Bengals, I was Chiefs, and then, and then I rode with the Bengals for a short stint. And now we arrive with my tertiary option here. Again, I think the performance that they had against Cincinnati was enough for me to believe, without a doubt, that the level of competition that Philly has dealt with all season and in the postseason there's no comparison. This is a monumentally tougher team. I think that Philly has their hands full. I won't say that this is going to be a blowout. I will say that this is definitely going to be an above 1 score game.
So they're going to be comfortable.
Yeah, they're going to be comfortable. It won't be a blowout, but I'm sure it's going to be over a 1 score game.
Nice.
So I'm trying to think of the score in my head. I'm thinking 35-24.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
You get a late score too. That can kind of change the way that the complexion of the game, right? If they go up 2 scores late, so.
Just end it.
Yeah, for sure. I've tried to look at this from both sides and not make because I for all of the hate that we throw back and forth as NFC East fans, as Cowboys Commanders fans, and that rivalry and everything else, I try really hard to be as objective as possible on this. Do I let my emotions get in the way sometimes? Sure, right? I'm human. It happens. But I've tried so hard to just disconnect myself from the fact that it's the Philadelphia Eagles and just looked at the roster comp, what they did, the body of work throughout this season versus the Chiefs and what they've got, their roster comp, what they did throughout the season. And one thing separates it for me, and that's going to be kind of the play design, the creative genius on one sideline versus the other. And I tip the scales in the favor of Andy Reid because I watched that team against Cincinnati have guys that were 6th, 7th round picks who were not even expected to play any downs this season fill crucial roles in that game against Cincinnati because they got nicked up and MVS is nicked up and Juju Smith-Schuster's nicked up and Kadarius Toney goes down in the game and obviously Mahomes was nicked up and they've got these like 3rd, 4th, 5th string wide receivers that were doing things in this game that they weren't expected to do. And that's because Andy Reid designs plays and schemes guys open. And Dan Orlovsky actually made a point today that I had been looking at from this Philadelphia defense, and he really highlighted it with some of the things that San Francisco was able to do with Debo. Defensively, they get lost when you run motions and when you move things kind of crossing the field, they get lost defensively. And that is where the strength of the Chiefs is with Kelsey and some of these other guys that really run these crossing routes a lot. They don't get as vertical as they have in the past because they don't have Tyreek Hill. but they're using McKinnon out of the backfield quite a bit. Pacheco's a good wide receiver out of the backfield, or a good receiving back out of the backfield. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is expected to be up for this game. He's a decent pass catcher out of the backfield too. If they get him runs, they're also getting healthy, right? They're expecting MVS and Juju Smith-Schuster and Mecole Hardman. Everybody should be up for this game. I'm hoping, right, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm hoping Travis Kelce's back is fine. And I'm also hoping that with 2 weeks that the staff is able to get Mahomes close to 100%. On the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs, they did a really good job against the Bengals, confusing that front for the Bengals at times, getting pressure in crucial moments. And that's what Steve Spagnuolo does. I look over at the other sideline and I look at Sirianni in that offense, and when they can get in a rhythm, as my dad just brought up the question, if they can get in a rhythm running the ball and they can get a defense really cheating up and that start running those RPOs, they can be very dangerous. And then that introduces A.J. Brown over the top, Devontae Smith over the top. I don't know that they're going to be able to do that against that Kansas City front because Chris Jones is on another planet right now. That game that he had against Cincinnati was basically him Aaron Donalding the Cincinnati Bengals and saying, I'm taking this game over. I'm wrecking your game plan. I'm wrecking your offense, and there's nothing you can do about it. They moved him inside, outside. They moved him in between double teams. They had him playing some gap rushes, and he was unstoppable against the Bengals. And I think that's what we're going to see against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're not going to have to cheat a lot on the quarterback because he's going to be able to penetrate and create disruption in the backfield. On the Philly side of the defensive side of the ball, I worry with them because of the motion in the crossing and all that Andy Reid does, but I also worry about how vanilla they are. They are very much rushing front four, playing a lot of man on the back and expecting those front four to get home. If Mahomes is near 100%, given the 2 weeks, you're not going to be able to just rush to a spot, right? They've had that luxury at times throughout the season with some favorable matchups where they've been able to just pin their ears back because they get ahead on a shitty team and they create this pressure. I don't think they're going to be able to do that with Kansas City. So I'm not as bullish as you in terms of score. I'm going to say 30-27 Kansas City. And I'm going to say that Philly has the ball late with a chance to score and can't cash it.
Okay. I dig that. Interesting. So either way, we're unanimous here as far as, how the sausage gets made. We agree that it's going to get made this way.
Yeah, Aaron, they have really good guys on the outside. Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick are really good on the outside. Andy Reid is not going to do what Kyle Shanahan started doing at the beginning of that game. He's not going to do what the Washington Commanders did all season long, both games they played Philly, despite beating them once. It's just, I don't see them just leaving guys on islands to block Reddick and Graham. And Reddick and Graham win one-on-one, but they're not going to be one-on-one. They've got some really good back, like Noah Gray is a really good blocking tight end. Blake Bell has gotten much better as a blocking tight end. And I think you're going to see a lot of 3 tight end sets, minimum 2 tight end sets, protect, use a lot of mesh routes concepts, a lot of crossing routes, and a lot of McKinnon out of the backfield. Dan Orlovsky proposed that maybe we'd see Kadarius Toney out of the backfield as well in kind of a Deebo Samuel type role. I don't know that the Chiefs are going to utilize him that way. Maybe. But I just see that they've got guys that they can really get into spaces that challenge that Philadelphia defense. And I don't know that they're going to leave Mahomes in the pocket long enough for him to take a lot of hits from that Philly defense. If I'm wrong about that, it's going to be a long day for Mahomes because once that Philly defense gets to the point that they can just pin them ears back, you're absolutely right, Aaron, that they win one-on-one when you leave them one-on-one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I'm I'm curious to see if the defense can put that kind of pressure on him. Like you said, I'm definitely confident in the Chiefs' offensive line. Again, for me, the only variable is Pat going to be agile enough? Like, we don't need him to be 100%, but he's got to be able to protect himself and scramble and do what he does. To the best of his ability, because
he
even
got
him
away with a lot against Cincy. He's not going to get away with that against Philly.
Yeah.
Lou Anarumo played a lot of soft and was kind of challenging him to move in the pocket. Philly's not going to do that. That's not their defense. They're coming. They're coming, and they're gonna tell you our front four is better than your front five. Prove me wrong. And if he's not 80, 90% feeling good, it could be a very long day for Mahomes.
Well, let's hope for the sake of this show that we're wrong about that.
Yeah. We don't want to be on loser island for fucking Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've already taken the L for the conference championships, so
you got fucking swept.
Fucking idiot sandwich. Anyways. Oh man. Well, what do you think we should do next, Gary?
Let's see.
Aside from get to the most important part of our show,
I think we go to that, and then we'll jump into a little Damn K, maybe season wrap up Damn K, and
oh damn,
season wrap up. Congrats, Brian.
I'm good with it. All right, so every episode we have, being a veteran-owned podcast, we dedicate to a fallen service member in our Folds of Honor sponsored segment called our Salute to Service. This episode is going to be dedicated to Army Chief Warrant Officer 2, John D. Smith. He was 32 years old, from Nevada, assigned to B Company, 5th Battalion, 158th Aviation, Aviano Air Base, Italy, and he was killed in a UH-60 Black Hawk crash on February 23rd, 2003 in Kuwait. Army Chief Warrant Officer 2, John D. Smith. We have the watch. And on that note,
a little Damn K.
Let's get it. Season ending Damn K. You know, it's kind of sad. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in with us this season. It's been great. Senior Aaron, probably our two most dedicated viewers. We appreciate it. We tried to focus on being consistent this year, and having you guys on board with us has been awesome. So I appreciate that. All right, so Damn K. Aside from going to Gary and Gary Senior and Aaron, my Damn K. I feel like I thought about going with the Eagles just because they managed to get here and the NFC East was a trash bag and whatever. But, I don't necessarily think there was any doubt on Pat Mahomes this year. I just feel like he flew under the radar for a majority of the season. The focus was on the Josh Allens. It was on the Joe Burrows, and Pat had his moments, but he was, at least on this show, on things that I watched, I didn't see a whole lot from him, but to just surface right up at the end, like, hey bitches,
y'all forgot.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. Yeah. My name's Mahomes.
Yeah.
So, my Damn K's got to go to the Kansas City Chiefs, to Pat Mahomes, to Andy Reid, to the organization, to the Kelsey Bowls. But that's my Damn K, man. I just feel like I'm due a whole big ass plate of crow that they're here at the show. I had him a strong 3, and I felt like Bengals and Bills were the one the whole season. I was like, it's got to be the Bengals or the Bills, and here I am eating crow yet again on this show. I seem to do that a lot. So, Gary, what's your damn K?
You do this as often as we do, and as often as sports, the talking heads on the big networks do. You're gonna eat some crow, so that happens.
Very true.
My damn K is actually it's a nice development at the end of this season. All right, it's the fact that we're starting to see much more merit-based hiring when it comes to head coaches, when it comes to coordinators. All right, and I'm going to make a small point for kind of in favor. I'm going to almost I don't want to, but I'm going to almost let the NFL and the NFL owners off the hook, right? When you're trying to make a culture change, a tectonic shift in an enterprise, it doesn't happen overnight. In the NFL, for all of the failures of the Rooney Rule, the failures of this or that initiative that they had, it's starting to, in my opinion, come around. Now, we need to see this over 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 seasons where we get a lot more merit-based hirings. And what I mean by that is I hope we get to a point where we don't have to look at minority share of head coaching hires in the NFL. We've seen Robert Saleh last year. D'Amico Ryan's already this year. Brian Flores just got another coordinator job. On down the line, Steve Wilkes just got another defensive coordinator job. I thought he was going to have a chance at that Carolina head coaching job. But on down the line, these minority coaches are starting to get into these positions, and they're starting to get hired based on merit. And that's all I think we've ever wanted in terms of anybody who's ever said the NFL is just a good old boys club.
Yeah.
There were good candidates that got passed over for menial reasons, and it always felt like there was some sort of good old boys club mentality. It's a bunch of rich old white dudes that own these teams.
Yeah.
So, because over the last couple of seasons, I think we've started to flip that script. I'm going to give a knowingly premature, because I shouldn't do this until there's 3, 4, 5 seasons of empirical evidence, but I'm going to do it prematurely. And I'm going to say, for the fact that it looks like we've turned a corner and we're hiring based on merit and not connections and being a good old boys club, damn K.
Damn K. It's got to be, you got to earn it, and it's got to be based on merit, and it's got to, the people that aren't in the good old boy system need to have a fair shake at it, right? We talked about Coach D'Amico last week, the week before. He's the truth, and he's going to do big things. And I think, again, Brian Flores getting his shot, we'll get into our congrats, Brian, next. But
congratulations to the Vikings. You might finally have a good defense.
Yeah, how about that?
They had 2 guys with double-digit sacks last year and were 30th in pressure percentage. That's how bad that defense was as a whole. Unbelievable. Yeah. He's going to be a big upgrade for them.
Well, and that should tell you too that it's a coaching thing. You're not using your aces to their strengths if you're still managing to not put enough pressure, but still having the amount of sacks that you're able to get.
Right.
So now let's get into the opposite side, and let's find some Bryans to congratulate. I'm going to go to you first on your congrats, Brian.
I had about 5 that in my head as I'm doing this, because this was kind of an off-the-cuff thing, right? Over the last 10 minutes, I've had about 5 pass through my head.
Yeah.
And I settled on one who we clowned on pretty good when Mike Williams got hurt. We clowned on pretty good when they mismanaged the clock and cost themselves games multiple times this season. And then they went and made a questionable hire for offensive coordinator. Guy got fired. They bring him in, Kellen Moore. I hope that it works out for them, but I just don't know what they're doing there. And they've gone out and they've gotten so much talent on that team. They went and traded for more. They went and drafted a bunch on defense. They got Justin Herbert. They've got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler, who's the best kind of two-way threat at running back in the NFL. And Brandon Staley continues to just booger fuck this thing into submission every fucking week, it seems, with this fucking guy. I don't know what he's doing, and I don't know how he held on to his job, other than the fact that the Chargers probably, for how fucking much money they must get from being in LA, they still are cheapskates. They probably didn't want to pay him and pay a new coach. Ugh, but it's not going well. He doesn't know how to manage a team as a CEO of a team. I think he's a brilliant mind when it comes to defensive scheming of things, but he cannot manage a team in game, before the game, doesn't know how to prep for games. Mike Williams playing in a meaningless game and getting hurt. For all of that, for all of those things. And I didn't even mention the timeout because it was from last year against the Raiders. For all of those things, congrats, Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley. Love that. That's good. I should have went first. Mine's real simple. My congrats, Brian. Selfish as it is, it goes to the Dallas Cowboys. In a recent report I read somewhere, there was someone from the Cowboys organization who was quoted saying, "We're prepared to keep Dak for another 10 years." So listen.
I shouldn't laugh.
When I think about these choices and these words that come out of your mouths sometimes, and I'm saying mouths talking to Cowboys fans, we've picked up a good offensive coordinator. I'm not going to argue about that. He's okay.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
I'm trying to convince myself of that. He's fine.
He's fine.
You know what the fucking problem is, though, is he's fine at best.
That's his ceiling.
He's peaked at it's. He's fine. And so, so the Dallas Cowboys get my congrats, Brian. If you're gonna double down, you better relocate Zeke. You better franchise tag Pollard. And Cowboys fans, please keep that same energy when we're fucking 10-7 and we do the same thing we did last year.
You won a playoff game this year, though.
It's not like we're not competitive. You know, we're just better than the rest of the shitbags in the NFC.
You're the most polished turd.
Exactly. Bronze medalist at the Special Olympics. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. It's not 100%. We're not where we should be.
Aaron's out here acting like a judge when you've already served time. Hopefully that counts. What he's been in 6 years now. He says hopefully that counted time in.
I'm just saying, man. It drives me fucking crazy. Like every time I think, okay, we're on the up and up. This season, I felt like I could hang my head high on this season. We did okay. Won a playoff game. Got to the divisional. Didn't win that. It's fine. Didn't really expect us to win it. I rode with them anyways. But you get an okay-ass coach at the OC. You double down on Dak Prescott.
And Mike McCarthy says he's taking back play calling duties.
Well, because Kellen Moore's not there. And we have an okay offensive coordinator. I don't know what to do anymore.
It's tough go.
I want to continue to be a fan of this team because I've been a fan of the Dallas Cowboys my entire life, living 2 hours from Dallas most of my life. I want to be a fan of this team. I was fortunate to be a 90s kid and grow up with Aikman and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith. And then and it was fucking fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Even the days of DeMarcus Ware and before that, like I've been fortunate to watch some great players come through this organization. One thing reigns true: that as long as Jerry Jones is a human being that still has a fucking pulse, the Dallas Cowboys will not be a competitive team. They won't be a competitive team. So for all of that, wrapping up the 2022 NFL regular season into the postseason, now into the Super Bowl, Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Congrats, Brian. That's right, Senior. You do have to stick with your team, no matter how much it hurts.
Yeah. It hurts. It hurts a lot sometimes.
Senior, I think's a Bills fan, right?
Yes.
And it's been real rough for y'all.
We had a rough go for quite a while after the 90s Bills. They got a couple of shots in the arm, and it's been rough. About as long as it's been rough to be a Washington fan. It's been much more rough to be a Washington fan though, because exactly. We don't have a quarterback. We're hoping that Sam Howell is good, but we don't have Josh Allen. We don't have a quarterback. Yeah. So and Ron Rivera wants to be 2-1 running the ball, so we still don't have a quarterback.
What do you do?
Yeah. Well, hopefully
what you do is double down on Ron Rivera.
Yeah. That's
listen. You know, is what it is.
It is
at the end of the day.
You gotta ride. You ride with him, you die with him.
That's right. At the end of the day, you could be a Browns fan.
Yeah, you could always be a Browns fan.
You could always be a Browns fan.
That's true.
Anyways, any closing thoughts, man? Kind of a short episode.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we got one game to preview and one game to review next week. It's the big one though, so I'm excited. Super Bowl is always exciting. I don't care who plays. I'll be there for every fucking second of the game, unless it's a 50-point blowout. I might turn it off, but that's never going to happen in the Super Bowl. Not in this era when the TV dollars are too good. We're never going to see San Fran against San Diego again, or any of those other blowout Super Bowls. It's just the money's too good. They want to keep eyeballs on the screen in the fourth quarter. So, but listen, it's the Super Bowl, right? It's the biggest show in the world. It's going to do crazy numbers, and I'm going to be one of them. And yeah, not with the script.
Fuck yeah, Aaron. Oh, man.
But it's going to be exciting. And for all of the shit I've given the NFL about the storylines are going to be kind of cool to watch, right? It's cool to see the Kelsey brothers play each other. It's cool to see Andy Reid play his old team. It's cool to see these guys get together, and it's an interesting dichotomy of the teams too. So Kansas City starting 22 is like 85% guys that they've signed as free agents, whereas the Philadelphia Eagles, it's like 85% guys they've drafted. So Howie Roseman's doing a good job, and yeah, absolutely, they're not going to let it get out of hand.
Listen, the script is the script, Senior. We know.
Absolutely. They're going to keep it competitive in the fourth, but those storylines are interesting, and the other pieces too, right? First time two Texas quarterbacks have started a Super Bowl. First time two black quarterbacks have started a Super Bowl. It's interesting to see some of these things that come together. And, for all of the shit I gave the NFL last week, I'm going to tune in and I'm going to say that the storylines are kind of cool to see. And that's why the NFL does it.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. So I will say this, my backup congrats, Brian, was to the NFL. Yeah. And the reason for that is that they've continued to show us, and the conspiracy memes and everything that's coming with it, gold. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
But what we've seen come out of this speculation, the criticism, the skepticism behind these officials, their lack of accountability. There's a lot more people talking about it this year than they have in years past, and it's getting more honed in. And it's going to be only a matter of time before there's some reputable news source, probably much larger than the four folks watching over here at Backyard Sports. But
although we appreciate every one of them,
somebody's going to start saying some shit that has a lot of followers, and they're going to start naming names, and shit's going to get real. Yeah. I mean, there's got to come a point. So yeah, I mean, that was my backup. Congrats, Brian, was just to say that, I think time's running out for the shit, the fuckery that we're seeing in these games. And if they pull some shit like that in the Super Bowl, it is going to be absolute mayhem.
I think that they're getting close. They're getting close to the point where maybe not somebody kind of blowing the top off yet, but I think they're going to have to start answering some questions from
I don't think it'll be some grand reveal. I think it's just going to be a consistent of like, hey, we're going to start pinpointing these refs and saying, hey, this guy in particular has had this many fucked up calls, and
that have influenced X, Y, or Z outcome.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to start answering some questions, and whether or not they can survive those questions being asked, we'll see.
So, somebody's going to start producing stats on these refs and start making it public, where there's going to be like a record or stat for blown calls, for, missed calls, for,
PFF
incorrect
does a
calls.
little of that, but I don't think they do it to the level that I think they would need to for the scrutiny that it would have to stand up to.
Yeah.
I don't think I say that to say, like, I don't think PFF puts their tinfoil hat on and then reviews a game. I think they do it very objectively, and objectively speaking, over the course of a season, the law of averages, they're able to kind of weed it out. And I think that's why the NFL so far has been able to kind of fly under the radar. I think there's going to come a time that they put a focus on this or an emphasis on that. I think we're going to have a Tim Donaghy moment of some sort. whether that's a betting scandal or whether it's the NFL just saying, hey, we want to focus on these things.
Can you imagine if we ever reached a point where there's some type of NFL document, right? Or communication, even if it's just like a fucking wiretap, and one of my refs is catching some shit from Roger Goodell saying, hey, fourth quarter, we need to see some fucking PIs. Okay, bud. You know what I mean? Something subjective. Close. Yeah. Keep it close. Keep it tight. Yeah. Not just call a good game. Fuck it. Hey, keep it entertaining.
We got to have eyes on the fourth quarter. Dude, the money of the Super Bowl. So, like, back when we used to get blowouts in the Super Bowl, because we haven't really had, other than the Broncos just kind of fumbling the bag. Yeah, maybe. That might be the time. Other than the Broncos just completely fumbling the bag against the Seahawks, the money's too much in the Super Bowl, and you lose eyeballs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And those advertisers, they pay big bucks. And the NFL doesn't want that. The NFL doesn't want people turning their TV sets off.
Yeah.
Whether they want to publicly admit we try to keep the games close or not, we all know they don't want people turning off their TV sets.
The fucking proof is in the pudding, dude.
What's the easiest way to get people to keep their TV sets on? Keep the game
controversy in close games.
Yes, 100%.
Proven facts, folks. We speak nothing but the truth out here, Backyard Blitz.
Facts only.
Facts only. Man. All right. Under an hour.
Yeah, good short episode. One game to preview.
It was nice. Closing thoughts. Think we're good to go?
Good to go, bud.
All right. Well, listen, as always, we appreciate the shit out of you guys. All of you that watch this show, whether you're watching it live with us in the comment section. We always post everybody's comments because we want y'all shit to see. We want you guys to see what we're seeing. Senior, Aaron, Ty, always a good time with you guys on the show. Great questions, good conversation. I hate that the season's already ending. We're gonna have to find something else to talk about after this is over, and we will continue. Be sure you're tuning in to Tailgate Trash Talk. Please make sure you're checking in with the Rosin Baggers. We're going to continue the shows. We're going to continue the Backyard Sports Media family of podcasts. And we're looking forward to, hopefully getting into some hoops soon. I've eventually got to get off my ass and start talking disc golf for those of you guys that are into that.
Yeah, get the season back up, man.
The season is getting ready to start.
Let's get it going.
We're like a month out from the season start.
Daytona 500 is soon. They just had the Clash this past weekend.
Oh, man. I've been seeing lots of clickbaits from that, and I need to spend some time digging into it.
Yeah. Look,
I heard it was spicy.
Oh, it was spicy. There's a lot of bumping and banging. You're on a quarter-mile track with 20, I think it was 26 cars in the feature.
Yeah,
There's a lot of bumping and banging, man.
Yeah, you're rubbing.
And Bubba had a strong car. Somebody dumped him. They don't fuck around, dude. They don't fuck around.
Is it just automatically racist if you take out Bubba?
I'll leave that up to the resident minority in the room.
The resident colored. Got it.
I did not say that.
You didn't. It's okay. Can you tell me where my water fountain is, please?
Yeah, right.
We'll definitely keep the shows going. As always, we appreciate the shit out of you guys. We will see you guys next week when we debrief our probably horribly wrong Super Bowl predictions, because that seems to be the trend.
Now.
Yeah, go double down on the fucking Eagles is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Backyard Blitz, brought to you by Backyard Sports Media. We'll see you next week.